now, one thing I want you to focus on here is what this support hand is doing. It needs to be high and center in the body, right? So right now you're carrying open, right? Let's say it's concealed, okay? And you're gonna have to get it out, right? What I wanna do, and let's just say, so we're equal here, that I'm like this, and the gun is over here, okay? So you can grab the seam together with both, right? I'm gonna do the bicep curl out, and I'm gonna pin my left hand up onto my center of my chest, my sternum. Now, with it being on the 3, you'll have to do this. You have to go to the side, grip out and up and over, right? The left hand needs to touch here, the sternum. Now, you're gonna go down and go get, while this hand stays, I want it higher, sternum. Yes.
Still holding.
Yeah, because guess what? The hand is gonna meet up right there anyways. And I'm keeping it out of the front of my muzzle, right? To make sure I never shoot my support hand. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. Do not put your support hand in front of the muzzle. Now, here's an instructor at a range testing a laser with a student. For some reason, wants to test it at his hand and then also pull the trigger like the biggest idiot I've ever seen. Make sure you're following the firearm safety rules. Do not point the muzzle at anything you're not willing to destroy. So draw the gun and get the muzzle in front of this hand. Right here. Now you can meet up. Now I want you to say in your mind, start lining your sights up. Sight, 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 touch the trigger. Now I'd bury this finger in and get that finger in there like that. Because it's not trigger finesse, it's trigger control, right? I think you can control something better when you hook that whole finger in there. Just want to make sure you're not pulling it that way, okay? You line the sights up, then you're going to pull. Okay, now notice your trigger press is kind of like this. Where it should be. All right? Okay, you've realigned the sights, you've reset the trigger. Finger on the frame. So I want you to keep in mind, since this is dry fire, we have to rack the slide so we can pull the trigger on the next iteration of this dry fire drill. If it was live fire, the slide would cycle and put another round in the chamber, so you wouldn't have to do that if you were shooting this live. Now, here's what we got to do. We're going to go back to the holster the same way we went out, right? So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to clear this garment up, 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 and away because I don't want to get any drawstrings or anything caught in there. I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to finger point it in there with my I want you to put your thumb on the back strap. The last thing you'll feel is the thumb, right? The thing with the thumb is that you could have some debris in your holster that would make your gun do this. And I'm like driving it in, and if you have your thumb there, you feel it. If I feel anything weird, I need to check. Is there like a brass casing in there? There's a police officer who shot himself. We had a bungee cord on his like jacket that the bungee cord was sat in there. He put it in, the bungee cord grabbed his trigger, and he shot in a gun store. Wow. So here's video of the situation I just talked about. We have a police chief in a gun store who is eventually going to shoot himself by unsafe gun handling practices. And before that even happens, points the pistol at his palm. I mean, very disappointed that a police officer chooses to handle a firearm in this way. The mechanics of what happens, he's put the pistol away once in the holster. Something was wrong. He pulls the pistol out, points it towards his other arm for some reason. Now he assesses something's wrong. He reinserts the pistol into the holster. There's debris in there. Something is wrong. Your drawstring is in there. You have to now take the pistol out and assess what's going on. He chooses instead to jam the pistol down, grab his jacket, pull up. The gun is now fired. Bullet hitting his leg. And again, the news reports talk about this being an accident. This is negligent. This is idiot behavior right here. If you handle a firearm like this, you're definitely going to have a problem. And so I want to make sure you all avoid anything like this. If you're reholstering, there's debris or something doesn't feel right, and that's why we have you keep the thumb on the back strap. If something isn't right, you need to assess, take that pistol out, check and clear, keeping that gun pointed in a safe direction. And so follow the firearm safety rules. It will keep you safe and other people safe as well. The thing with the going back in the holster, the only time I'm going in the holster, shit's over with. There's no need to like go back fast. I prefer to keep my eyes up as I'm reholstering, but for new folks, I just say, look in there, put it in there, right? Because the only reason I'm putting this shit away, it's over. Drill's over, fight's over, right? Clear your garment. Now look, you're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to get used to coming over to your armpit on the other side. Yep. Eye it in, thumb on the back strap. Boom. Cool. Yep. For deployment, I want to find a reliable and consistent method of getting the gun out from concealment. A reliable and consistent method of getting the gun out from concealment. So what does that mean? To give you an example, I run an appendix carry here, okay? So a lot of people are taught to kind of like grab down at this shirt, you know, and rip up. I found that trying to do that quickly, I don't always get a perfect grab, all right? Also, if you carry other things around your belt, let's say a flashlight or knives or stuff like that, there's clips and stuff it can get caught on. So what I prefer, this is a reliable, consistent method for me. The frame is going to make a right angle, right? So I'll take my palm and literally smash down on it, make a fist. Now instead of doing a upright row, I'll do a bicep curl. So I'll tuck my elbow in, I'll then take my fist out and up. Now I have a clear grab on my firearm, right? So if I had, you know, this garment as well, I would be worried about that getting caught up. So I would, as I'm going to get this grip, pin, then I would do this. Now I have that immediate grip right there, which would be also a reliable, consistent method.
So a big factor is kind of clothing maintenance.
Sure, yeah. Let's just say, I mean, at the minimum, let's say I had a big-ass coat on or whatever, I do that same thing, but I'll just crush grip everything, rip it up out of there, and then go get, right? Because, again, if I'm having to draw that pistol out, my life is imminently threatened, or somebody beside me, which is probably going to be multiple attackers. If it's a single attacker, it could be a knife or a gun, you know? So I got to get that shit out reliably and consistently, and you work that out in training, right? One other thing on deployment is I want your muzzle to fight the holster on the way out. Muzzle fight holster on the way out.
Muzzle fights holster?
Yeah, because look, if I do this, right, tactical, there's all this time that the muzzle is pointed down, right? So what I want is that my muzzle is fighting the holster on the way out to get pointed on target. Because the more time it's spent like this, it's pointed.
Oh, I see. So as you're bringing out the pressure is kind of coming forward.
Correct. So I'm trying the muzzle is fighting its way out of the holster to get pointed down range. All right, so we want to end this video on deployment strategies and gun handling strategies with some major points, right? First one is that you need to make sure if you're going to carry a concealed handgun, you have to train from the concealed position. And in these videos, we're going slow, we're practicing smooth, this is kind of a warm-up. And what you'll find is that I will start reps slow, get a couple reps in, and then I'll try to speed up. I'm also varying my hand position. Arms crossed, parade rest, thinking person. These are all different positions that I may find myself out in normal life, so I want to make sure that I'm practicing actually drawing my pistol from those particular positions. And that last one, I actually incorporated some movement. So another thing I want to think about is if you're new, especially, start slow. We have Sean here working, you know, in this 3-hour private training session where we just started off slow. We're building fundamentals and dry fire practice, and as we're moving along, he's picking up skill and also picking up speed. And, you know, it's very important that when you're learning something new that you start slow, ingrain the muscle and movement patterns first, and then speed up over time. And your target really can dictate how fast you should go. If you can't hit what you're aiming at, or you can't hit consistently at what you're aiming at, you have to slow down. The target will tell you what speed you should be moving at. And here at the end of the day, we got Sean going 2 to the body, 1 to the head, shooting that small little circular plate there, doing a great job. And above all, safety, safety, safety. Dry fire, clear your environment safe, follow the firearm safety rules. Since we're talking about holster work, you got to make sure you have no debris in that holster. You go in and out of the holster slow, smooth, and controlled, because that's where you're at the most risk of shooting yourself.